Picture this. It's the dead of night, Christmas 1980, and you're stationed at a remote airbase in England. The world is quiet, too quiet, except for the hum of the forest behind the wire. You're on patrol when you see it. Lights, low and red, weaving through the trees like they're alive. You grab your radio, you call it in, but static drowns your voice. And then you hear it, a sound, not natural, not mechanical, like a heartbeat from the ground itself. Then you step closer, boots crunching, and the air shifts, cold, heavy. It feels electric. Something's out there. Something is watching and waiting. You don't know it yet, but you're about to walk into one of the strangest nights of your life, a night that'll leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about reality. Welcome to the Redacted Files. I'm Clayton Morris, and tonight we're diving into a mystery that's haunted Rendlesham Forest for decades. A story so bizarre, so buried, it's been called Britain's Roswell. That is the Rendlesham Forest incident. So hold tight. This one's going to twist your mind. Our story starts on December 26, a day after Christmas in 1980, at RAF Woodbridge, which is a U.S. Air Force base in Suffolk, England, nestled against Rendlesham Forest. It was a Cold War outpost. Jets, radar, nuclear secrets, the works. Christmas had come and gone. The base was winding down. Most folks were sleeping off some turkey and beer. But at 3 a.m., Airman John Burroughs couldn't sleep. John was 22 years old. A security patrol grunt, tough, no-nonsense kind of guy, not the type to really spook easily at all. He was on watch with his partner, Jim Penniston, when they saw them. Lights in the forest, red, blue, pulsing low. Not a plane, not a flare. So John radioed it in. Unidentified lights, east perimeter, he said. And the tower just brushed it off, probably a farmer's bonfire. But John wasn't buying it. The lights were moving. So they grabbed their gear and headed out, crossing the fence into Rendlesham. 1,500 acres of dense pine forest, dark as pitch. The air crackled, radios hissing static. 50 yards in, they found it. A glow, bright, and all kinds of wrong. It was hovering a foot off the ground. It wasn't fire. It was a shape. It was triangular, black as oil, maybe 9 feet wide, lights dripping from its edges like liquid. John froze right there. Jim stepped closer, notebook out in his hand, sketching it. Symbols on its side were jagged and alien looking. He'd never seen symbols like this before. Then the hum hit them. It was like deep and vibrating right down to their bones. John's watch stopped at exactly 3:12 a.m. Then the thing moved. It shot straight up, silent through the trees, and it was gone in a blink. They stumbled back to base. They were shaken, reporting it to Lieutenant Colonel Charles Halt. Halt then logged it in his books, called it Unexplained Lights. That should have been the end of it, but it wasn't. The next day they found the markings. 3 indentations in a triangle, scorched earth, trees snapped at angles. Radiation meters were spiking all over the place. They were low, but they were real. John and Jim swore it was no helicopter, no prank. Something had landed there, something they couldn't explain, something that burned the forest floor. Word of the UFO spread fast across Woodbridge. Most laughed about it. Too much eggnog probably, right? But Lieutenant Colonel Halt wasn't laughing. He'd seen John and Jim's faces, pale, eyes wide, not the look of liars. On December 27th, he offered a sweep. Nothing turned up. Tracks had faded, radiation had dropped. They walked through that area, they didn't see anything. Case closed, he figured, until the next night proved him totally wrong. December 28th, 1 a.m., Halt was hosting a late briefing when a sergeant burst in. It's back! Lights again, brighter, weaving through Rendlesham Forest. Halt grabbed the team, 5 men this time. He grabbed a Geiger counter and a tape recorder and marched into the forest himself. And he wasn't messing around this time. The tape's real. You can hear it online. Hear it for yourself. You can hear Halt's voice, calm at first, saying this: "We're at the east gate observing lights approximately 120 degrees. Then the hum kicks in, low, pulsing. The team spreads out, flashlights dancing all over the place. 50 yards in, they saw it. Red glows splitting apart, darting between the trees like fireflies on steroids. Halt's voice then tightened. It's moving towards us. One light hovered, bright, metallic, dripping what looked like molten glass. The Geiger counter clicked faster. A farm nearby lost it, cows bellowing, dogs howling. Then a beam shot down, white, blinding light right where Halt stood. He ducked down, cursing, tape crackling. "There's no explanation for this," he yelled. The light vanished, leaving spots in their eyes. They tracked it to a clearing, same marks as before, fresh burns on the ground. Halt sketched it in his book. A craft was hovering silent, and then it bolted straight up into the sky, splitting the sky wide open. It was gone. The team staggered back, the tape running. Halt was muttering to himself. "What the hell was that?" he said. They didn't know it yet, but Rendlesham wasn't done with them. By morning, December 29th, Woodbridge was a pressure cooker. Halt filed his report, detailed and signed with no fluff in it, and he labeled it unidentified craft, observed, landed. He sent it up the chain to RAF Bentwaters, the sister base, expecting answers. Instead, he got silence, radio silence. And then brass suits from London rolled in. No names, just orders. Stand down. No more talking about this. The team was debriefed, separately and harshly. John and Jim got the worst of it. "You saw a lighthouse," they were told. "Orford Ness Lighthouse. 5 miles away was the official line." Never mind that the lighthouse didn't move, the lighthouse didn't hum, the lighthouse didn't burn the ground. "A weather anomaly," they said. Halt pushed back. His tape, the marks, the beams, all of it. They took his tape recording for analysis and told him to drop it. Don't talk about it anymore. Locals started talking about it. Farmer Ted Wells, whose cows freaked out, saw lights too. Said they weren't flares, they weren't planes. His dog went missing that night, found a week later trembling in a ditch with furry patches missing. Kids biking near the forest swore they'd heard whispers. No words, just sounds like static, but with intent. The Ministry of Defense stepped in, then in January of 1981, classified it, shut it down. Halt's report leaked years later. Redacted all to hell, but the tape did survive. It was raw and real. John and Jim faced blowback, health issues, nightmares. Jim claiming the craft downloaded symbols into his head. Skeptics scoffed, but radiations didn't lie. Something had happened in Rendlesham Forest. Then the weirdness hit. Logbooks from that week at Woodbridge went missing. Pages were torn out. Dates were blanked out. A Bentwaters radar tech off the record said they tracked it, and then it was gone. The brass, of course, buried it deeper, redacted it. After New Year's, Rendlesham Forest changed. Patrols reported lights, faint, sporadic, always out of reach. Airmen avoided the East Gate if they could because the radios would static out there, sometimes spitting garbled voices out like, "It's still here." By spring 1981, half the base requested transfers. They were getting headaches, insomnia, shadows in their peripheral vision. Locals got hit worse. In fact, Ted's farm failed as crops totally wilted. The livestock were sickened. No cause was ever found. A hiker in June 1981 stumbled on a clearing. Trees were bent totally outward. Ground was all blackened, and there was a hum so loud he ran. His ears were ringing for days. He snapped a photo and developed it and saw shapes that were tall and looked incredibly weird in the frame. In 1983, a BBC crew snuck in, caught lights on film, audio of that humming. Ministry of Defense confiscated it, citing security. But leaks kept coming. Witnesses, memos, Halt's tape making its rounds finally made it into the public. John and Jim went public, risking everything, saying it wasn't just a craft, it knew them, it was watching them. By the 1990s, Rendlesham Forest was a legend. UFO nuts swarmed around this area, found scratches on trees, readings off the charts. The base closed in 1993, left to rot in the wilderness. The forest stayed alive. Campers still hear it, humming, whispers, footsteps with no source. In 2010, a logger swore something chased him through the forest. It was fast, silent, and gone when he turned around. Today, it's a tourist trap. Signs mark the area, UFO landing site. But the locals don't linger. The air is heavy there. They say it's like it's waiting for them. The Rendlesham Forest incident, is it explainable? Is it an anomaly that can be easily explained away, something we weren't meant to see? The Ministry of Defense says it's case solved. It's a lighthouse. Stars, weather pattern, weather anomaly, case closed. Halt, John, Jim, and half of Suffolk say that's total BS. The files are locked away, of course, redacted to the shadows, but the hum lingers on the tapes, in the memories of the campers who walk through this forest and in the trees. Was it a craft? Was it some sort of a test gone wrong? Something the government didn't want anyone to know about? Or something older, stranger, using the forest as its stage? So the next time you're near Rendlesham Forest, listen close. That hum, those lights, they might still be there, and they might still be watching you. I'm Clayton Morris, and this has been the Redacted Files. So check your corners, maybe your skies tonight, and always look up. We'll see you next time.